In 2019, I saw an article on Black Enterprise that African American median family wealth will decrease to zero by 2053. No way, how could that be with all of our Hollywood millionaire celebrities, athletes, CEOs, YouTube influencers? Out of a population of 42 million, we have 7 billionaires. We possess a 1.6 trillion annual income on the rise yearly. We're taking to the skies, cruising the oceans, spending more on consumer goods than ever before.
Oh no!
I was in disbelief myself until I discovered that our 1.6 trillion annual income never doubles or triples to our cultural wealth. Most African American dollars leave their bank accounts in an hour, never to return. Our 1.6 trillion turns back to majority dominion to the compounding of their capital expansion and wealth. Where do we go from here, my people?
This is Kendall from Cyber Bears, and right now we're in the New York airport station. Our next location is to Buffalo to see the Underground Railroad and museum. And later on we'll be viewing the solar eclipse. This trip is being sponsored by I Prep the Drive.
One simple name, Pam Kelly. Pam is a dynamo.
Kendall is going to take us on other places of historic interest and importance.
She called me up and said, you know, I'm putting this event together that will document what's going to happen, and then it's next, you know, the solar eclipse, and that it's going to happen in Niagara Falls, and that's where your museum is. And EB, can you just do me a big favor and be a part of this event and show up and talk about your contribution to this museum? And I think it would mean so much. How can I say no to that? The role of an artist in the community is to document life. We sit out on the peripheral and we're in constant observation of the world. We are looking and identifying things that are important to tell, chronicles the life of people at that particular time, and we are saying these are important things that really benefit individuals that are living at this particular time and also those individuals to come. The reason I'm here is because of what's going to happen at the Underground Heritage Museum in Niagara Falls. Amtrak built it was about $42 million train station. And when they built it, they realized it was right there on the Underground Railroad. And there in the site, there is a custom house. The custom house was there, I'm sure it might date back to the 1700s, or even maybe before. And this custom house, they said, well, let's take this custom house and turn it into a museum for the Underground Railroad. This is, and you brought a big smile on my face when you said thousands of people have come through.
We've even had models that have come through here.
Really?
Yes, to look for themselves.
Look for themselves.
Yes.
Oh, that is so fabulous.
Yes.
We were just discussing my last time. It's almost 6 years. So after the dedication was the last time I was here. And so it is not by mistake, not by accident, that I'm here now. I'll talk more about that, but the fact that this is a historical time. The fact that you have the sun and the moon aligning, the planets aligning themselves. This is special. This is auspicious, an auspicious occasion. I thank you all for coming out for this. We're talking about we're celebrating the visionaries, the freedom seekers, the risk takers, right? The forward futurists that you're talking about, the forward thinkers.
In 1905, a visionary group of black futurists gathered near Niagara Falls, Canada, to imagine a future of justice, equality, and full citizenship for African Americans. Originally planning to meet in Buffalo, New York, they were denied hotel accommodations due to segregation. Undeterred, they crossed the border to Canada, reclaiming space in a land once traveled by freedom seekers on the Underground Railroad. Led by W.E.B. Du Bois and joined by forward thinkers like William Monroe Trotter, John Hope, Kelly Miller, and Ida B. Wells, these leaders crafted a 10-point platform demanding voting rights, equal education, fair treatment in the courts, and the right to live with dignity. Their ideas defied the limits of their time, laying the groundwork for the NAACP and a modern civil rights movement. Today, their bold stand is echoed through the work of the Niagara Falls Underground Railroad Heritage Center, which honors freedom seekers, abolitionists, and the courageous Black futurists who shaped a legacy of liberation and hope for future generations.
Everybody see this wanted poster right here? So I want to expound a little bit more on that sense of humanity, right? So typically when a person would escape a plantation, reward posters would be put out for their recapture. This was in a St. Louis newspaper in 1847.
Sankofa. Sankofa. A word that comes from the Akan language and can be translated as go back and fetch it, or return and get it. The Sankofa bird serves as a reminder to look both back and forward, embracing the past while looking ahead to the future.
Because when we talk about slavery, we're talking about a small percentage of people at the top that had the concentrated wealth to buy, purchase, and breed and sell people.
It is in this spirit that we recorded an adventure over the course of 3 early spring days in April 2024. In the historic environs of Niagara Falls, 15 travelers were taken through time, tracing the paths of freedom-seeking ancestors throughout the northern borderlands.
The church represents 19th century freedom seekers, and then the parsonage on the backside represents 20th century freedom fighters.
Our journey culminated in an unforgettable fellowship as we witnessed an awe-inspiring total solar eclipse, a true watershed moment as we honored the ancestors and pondered what the future holds beyond.
So I've been here after Pam Kelly, who's the owner of I Prep to Thrive, reached out to me and said, hey Dolores, I'm thinking about doing a tour, visiting Buffalo during Eclipse 2024. And I said, okay, let's talk about that. Let's explore as to what is going to happen while viewing the eclipse. So she said, well, let's do some pre-activities. So we brainstormed on what can be done, and we identified visiting the Underground Railroad Museum here in Buffalo. We talked about going to a Black-owned restaurant for some fine dining and some local dishes, local cuisine.
Welcome, Raleigh-Durham, North Carolina, to Buffalo, New York. Welcome to Manna at Northland. We are here to serve you on today. We're glad to have you here. We hope that you had a safe travel thus far and enjoying yourself. A little bit about Manna. Manna came to life 5 years ago, coming this November. We had a chance. There was a restaurant here just before us that didn't make it, and God opened the doors for us to come. And we sat around the table, my dinner table, talking about names of a restaurant. We had a chance to beat out 50 restaurants. So we were blessed to come up with the word manna. Manna is food from heaven. This area was desolated. It had nothing going on in this building for over 20 years. And then the city came in and developed some schools and training for the community. And we were able to get this site to open up as Manna at Northland. And our goal is to continue growing, calling ourselves Manna at wherever we go. Right now we have local Black artists on the walls, different paintings from different local Black artists. Yes, you can purchase paintings off the wall. This one right here is done by one of my close friends of Nina Simone and James Baldwin. And it's an art that catches your attention as soon as you look at it. The colors are vibrant, just black and white, just make you feel like you are a part of that era. Different pictures on the wall with color purple. My little sister painted that one. I call her my little sister. She's my backbone to artwork. She's the one that I caught doing the art called Angel Lee. She's one of my friends for over 30 years. And when I had the opportunity to put artwork on the wall, I thought of her. And she came, she runs the wall. The paintings are available for sale. They have the names and local artists' names on there. And the one she's looking at now, the Michael Jackson, that's one of my chefs that painted that one that's working here at Manor with me on today.
What the Lord got for you is for you. They were here for 10 days. This is a $3.5 million restaurant. Here for 10 days. There's amateurs and there's pros. So we've been very blessed to have been in this desolate land. When we talk about how we come up with the name Manor, this was a desolate land. This was a racing track. Nothing was here. And here now, it came from heaven. That's where that name came to us as a team. We've been here going on 5 years now. There's 2 colleges in this building, and there's 4 factories. So lunchtime, you can't get in here. But we've been so encouraged of the young people that we hire, of the community, of the general of Western New York. We're the #1 black restaurant in Western New York.
Basically, when they brought us in, we have been there for 300 years or longer.
Boarding the bus and having a local tour guide who focused on the history of African Americans, or yes, African Americans here in Buffalo. He gave us a great overview of the Underground Railroad here in Buffalo, how it went into Canada.
In 1825, Buffalo was actually founded here. And all of this was wilderness or hinterlands, and then the Erie Canal, we're going to see it, we're going to go by it, it's back this way. So this area was thriving for fugitive slaves, and they were coming from Ohio, Pennsylvania, places like that, up the upper Niagara River. So this is where they were coming. So this was a very important stop.
One of my favorite moments was traveling through the mountains, going up there and returning. Because for me, it was like a full circle and wondering what did my ancestors do? You know, and were any of them in that area type thing. And I guess I was feeling that way because I think I shared that I was born in Panama, but relatives from Trinidad, Barbados, and Jamaica. And I was wondering, I was looking at it from coming from Africa and that journey, going through our forefathers going through the different islands, and then coming around and then entering into the United States, and then traveling over these mountains, like you often stated, Pam. How did they get there, and what did they enjoy? We were in a car with wheels and heat and air conditioning if we wanted it to be, but what was their experience like?
Booker T believed that we should be working from our shoulders down. Yeah. And the boys was like, oh no, we work from our shoulders up. So we get this yin and a yang. I mean, they didn't like each other, but they were in the same book, different pages, right? So Booker T came here when he was doing his tours, raising money for Tuskegee, and he came to this church on March 12th, a couple of years before he died, right? Well, the boys came here, and he had this organization called the Talented 10th, which he believed was a 10th of the population of blacks that can bring themselves up by our bootstraps and make things happen. So he came here, met with a woman by the name of Mary Talbert, who was first black to graduate from Oberlin College out of Ohio. He wanted to have a convention. The rumor was he couldn't get any convention space here, so he went over to Canada, had the first Niagara Movement meeting, and the Niagara Movement had another meeting at Harper's Ferry when it became the NAACP. It all started here.
What time is it? 3:19. It's 3:19. We're going in tonight. We're going in tonight.
The sky will darken as if it were dawn or dusk. Weather permitting, people in the path of the total solar eclipse can see the sun's corona or outer atmosphere, which is usually obscured by the bright face of the sun. This total solar eclipse will be visible in 15 states, and a partial solar eclipse will be visible in all 49 continental states. And so one of the places is Buffalo. And so when you're looking at the eclipse, you never want to look at one with the naked eye.
Toast to everyone here, because this took a year of planning what began as just a bucket list wish to be able to see the eclipse and Niagara Falls at the same time. My cup runneth over. Because in a year, those of you who agreed to go and participate in any way, any myriad of ways, there's folks who are not here who still participated. So this cup is to them, this honor is to them too. But in the course of a year, the Lord has brought us all here in spite of COVID, in spite of the economy, in spite of all the obstacles that could have taken place to prevent EB from being here, from me meeting you, yes, from just meeting all of you. So I consider this really a delegation of futurists, people who believe in the future in spite of what the present looks like. Amen. And so the eclipse was really a metaphor for that. This weekend has been about our history, revisiting the past, and those icons of the past who were the first futurists, the ones who came over here through the Middle Passage, and I'm about to get teary-eyed. But they were futurists. They refused to give up and throw themselves into the sea. They made it over here. Amen. And then in spite of 244 years of captivity, they were still futurists. And they acted upon that by whatever means necessary to secure freedom. And among them is Harriet Tubman, who's my icon. There were so many. So we visited places, the paths that they had to go through. And so the eclipse was a metaphor of revisiting the past with the onset of the eclipse to this darkening of the sky as we contemplate the present, all that is happening in the present. And now look, it's lighting back up. Right. And so now we have this wonderful opportunity to contemplate all of what happened and say, let's be futurists. Let's honor the ancestors and believe in the futurists, be futurists, and build. Yes. And build back better.
This is Pam Kelly with Century 5101075, a groundbreaking new continuum of economic development and opportunity beginning New Year's Day 2024. To everything there is a season. Here at Century 5101075, it is our season to launch a new building tradition. Perennial Park 1, a spectacular family retreat of brick, stone, and sparkling waterways, begins construction in 2027. We build in remembrance and accountability to our futurist ancestors, Tubman, Douglas, Du Bois, and the Niagara Movement. Malcolm, Dr. King, Senator John Lewis, so many who never gave up on a more perfect union in America, no matter how the present looked. Let's pray, let's prep, let's build, and never let the dust settle. Tribute Brick sponsorships are available beginning January 2024 at perennialpark.com.
Cash flow, 5101075.
I use the cash flow app to keep track of my charities.
Cash flow, 5101075 helps you manage expenses, helps keep track of charitable giving, helps you save your money. Cashflow 5101075. Download it today. Cashflow 5101075 would like to wish the Cyber Bears good luck in this year's first robotics competition.
We've come to the end of a phenomenal 3-day experience. So where do we go from here? What do we do with the memories of this experience? Many would say that storms are gathering in America with the upcoming election, global volatility, and increasing social and political divisions in our country. As founder of I Prep to Thrive, a mutual resilience group for African American preparedness culture, I have great expectations of the future if we dare to prepare for it financially, strategically, tactically, and spiritually. But first, we must deal with an ominous prediction. According to inequality.org, it is predicted that African American median family wealth will decrease to 0 by 2053. What does zero median family wealth actually mean? Well, that means lifelong debt, indentured employment, decreased quality of life for most of our descendants. That is not what our ancestors, such as Harriet Tubman, W.E.B. Du Bois, Frederick Douglass, Senator John Lewis, that's not what they sacrificed and died for. Well, what factors would lead to such an outcome? Insufficient savings and retirement planning, lack of life transition documentation, and the elephant in the room, which nobody seems to recognize, is the lack of banking one's culture. All prosperous cultures build through access to capital and banking and investment relationships. So what then must we do? Honor the ancestors, if we do nothing else, by resurrecting the spirit of preparedness activism to avert these dire economic predictions. The solutions must begin in our households, in our families. So here, today at Niagara Falls on April 8, 2024, we have inaugurated an economic movement called Century 5101075, based on old school balanced budget financial wisdom that can potentially create a more collectively prepared, prosperous, and resilient populace, a vastly more productive and innovative economy, and a more socially just society. We now go forward with the following macroeconomic strategic pillars: build, prepare, earn, churn. We further define the preparedness activism into the following holistic pillars: build, prepare, pray, love, heal, thrive. We hope all who have watched this film catch the spirit of the transformative energy that took place during this historic moment, honor the ancestors, and build forward. Yes, this is a call to action. No marches, no pickets, boycotts, or holding up traffic in the middle of rush hour. Our dollar is our power. We are 48 million with 1.8 trillion. Bucket boss our dollars like the ancestors. Bank our culture and build. Join Century 5101075 today and enter a new frontier of resilience and prosperity in our preparedness industry. That is how we honor our ancestral heroes and avert Prediction 2053.